Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Knack. We've got live tournament action coming at you. It is now Shooter and Killer. DignitasKiLLeR. Gonna be a great matchup here. Now we're back into a mixed group of individuals. It is going to be Protoss versus Zerg. Now Shooter going to be our orange Protoss down here in the bottom left-hand corner. He is really making his way through the losers bracket pretty well. DignitasKiLLeR been waiting quite a while here, actually. I love his little icon here, and I learned that that is because he did win a what do you call it? BlizzCon. Won a tournament at BlizzCon, so they gave him that special little decal there. It's quite cool to see, and it's actually very bright. It's lighting up the room. I can feel the warm glow, the warm yellow glow on my face, and I assume that that does change color with his whatever color he chooses. So interesting that he does choose the yellow, but it looks good to be sure. And he is going to be going for, let's see what he's got here, 13. We'll check back in on him in just a moment. Notice that Shooter not going for a wall off here. Kind of an interesting deal, especially considering he is going against a Zerg, and DignitasKiLLeR here may get aggressive because of that. Looks like Shooter is just going to be walling off his mineral line, I'm guessing. Feels like he can defend. Now, I've seen plenty of Protoss players do this before, so it's not a super surprise, I guess. Does actually one that he used to never wall off. And he's a great player. But Shooter, I mean, he knows exactly what he's doing, and this guy is phenomenal. And there he goes. He is going to start his wall off right now. Tossing down his pylon. Looks like he wanted to keep his gateway back here. Interesting. And he's probably going to put his, what do you call it, the cyber core at this position here. Complete that wall off there. It's not a bad idea. But it is what it is. And looks like Shooter is going for his gas now. A little bit late, to be honest. Does have his gateway complete. Nobody in position to put down a cyber core, so he is not concerned. Now he did toss down a pylon in forward position here, blocking his opponents. Expand. Killer going to be taking his spawning pool and not taking another gas. Or am I actually interested? Sometimes you see the Zerg players just go ahead and take this position here if they're going to get blocked, but it looks like he is just going to work on this with a drone, waiting for a couple links to come out. He does have 4 on the way right now. Looks to be in pretty good shape. And there's your cybernetics core, and that is, yeah, there you go. There's a wall off. There's a wall off. That looks great. Shooter should be in just fine position now, and he did finally, oh, wait a second, nope. Probe going down here, and look at this. Killer is going to take another base. But Shooter somehow is in position to block it. We're going to have Harvester Wars for the time being. Killer probably going to back out here and go ahead and take that. He does have a lot of minerals. Nope, he got it down here, so maybe he's just going to hold it for now. Probably going to save it for now. See how that's going to go. But here comes his links. They're going to start maintaining that map control. Always a crucial element of playing like a Zerg. Shooter now going for his expand, it appears. And pretty decent time, actually. And 400 minerals, should see it go down at just about any moment here. In the meantime, he is going to send out a couple of zealots here. 3 of them, in fact. And is Zergling going to try and make it into the main. Could make it up there, actually, quite easily. Trying to dance around the probe is not going to work, and the probe actually gets a lot of free shots off there. This is quite a nice little deal for the probe. In the meantime, those zealots here, 3 of them headed out across the field. A trio, if you will, of death. Doing 2 attacks each at 8 damage each attack at a melee range and weapon speed of 1.2. We'll see if these guys are going to be able to get anything down. There are a good bunch of links here as well as a queen for defense. So my guess is probably not tons. May even see him back out here fairly quickly. And it looks like, wow, Killer waiting for the flank. He's letting these guys in. He may be able to pick up a drone killer too here. Nope, a great reaction here from Killer, and here comes a spine crawler. Looks like the ramp is going to be blocked, so Killer giving Shooter absolutely zero reason to try and make it up into the main there. Notice that Shooter is going to be working on a gateway and a forge here for a wall off at this natural position. Does have his Nexus completing here at 6 minutes and 43 seconds in. Get this guy up and mining in a very big way. Units tab shows that he is indeed slightly ahead here economically. 27 to 25, every little bit counts. And in production, though, KiLLeR is going to start taking the lead. Here comes some Lings. Nice little force field there. Looks like one Ling will make his way through. That Zealot is stuck underneath there, and this guy is going to make it up into the main, strangely enough. Nope, he didn't. KiLLeR losing his Ling to a sentry. Great force field here yet again, trapping that guy. Look at that, man. That poor Zealot gets trapped underneath that force field every single time. But nice positioning there, and looks like he did bring his Zealots back here to help defend. Looks like these guys out on the live stream checking bets. Who is going to win? I'll agree, this is a great matchup here, but KiLLeR so strong. I don't know. I mean, sGShOoTER is really coming back strong way at this point. From what we saw earlier on in the tournament, he really appears to be on fire right now. I mean, taking out Lobber is not an easy task. And so sGShOoTER in pretty strong position. We'll see if he's going to be able to hold it up here. But KiLLeR is really quite an aggressive player, and that may work in his favor here. More gateways going down. He appears to be in just fine shape. Tech-wise, we are going to see a Twilight Council here from sGShOoTER. And from KiLLeR, it is going to be a Roach Warren. So we better go check this out for just a little bit. Does have his Roach Warren going down. Evo Chamber as well, working on missile attacks level 1. He did obviously grab out his spawning, or his Zergling speed upgrade. We've seen that already. And he's currently working on his lair. So lair tech will be headed your way here momentarily. Probably going to see Hydras is my guess, since he's working on that missile attack. Roach Hydra is becoming more and more popular these days from Zerg opponents. And I think KiLLeR may be headed that direction. He did grab his third here. Looks like a fake Phoenix, a faux Phoenix, if you will, headed this way. He is going to at least get some scouting intel out. Nicely done there from sGShOoTER. Does see the double Evo Chambers, also sees the Roach Warren, so that's great intel for him. In the meantime, he is going to start heading out across the map, it appears, with a good bunch of sentries and Zealots. Nope, I think he's headed over here just to take an expansion, so he's got to clear out this Zergling. There he goes, clearing it out. It is 10 minutes in. It's a perfect time to take a third base, and sGShOoTER feels the same way, so down it goes. He's got a pretty decent defensive posture here for the time being. We do have your Overseer now cruising through, though. He's going to pick up a pretty decent amount of intel. Did see that Twilight Council going down. If not, he's going to see it again right now. Here comes a couple Stalkers to thwart this guy's scouting. Looks like he may make it out of there alive, strangely enough. But he did toss down a Changeling, and this Changeling is now joining the group. Joining the group. We'll see if he is going to stick around long enough to get more intel. But here comes your photon cannons. Looks like some static defense is in order here for sGShOoTER. In the meantime, oh wow, he's going to actually keep this place locked down, tossing down gateways. Nice positioning here. I actually like this quite a bit from sGShOoTER. This enables him to defend this while he moves his army out. So probably going to see him finish this off with a couple cannons, try and block this off as best that he possibly can. And then he can start moving out a little bit more freely. But he's going to go ahead and take this opportunity to blind the tower. Does remove that, and here comes some Lings. Looks like the KiLLeR might move through this third base, but guess who's there, ready and waiting to hold that off. A good couple of units. Looks like sGShOoTER should be in just fine shape here. But the third going to be going down in pretty decent style, getting saturated there right away. Does have some more gateways going down as well. Looking pretty solid. Does have his blink now complete. No new tech really to speak of other than that, though. And I take that back. He's getting his robotics base. So we are going to see some Colossus here. Colossus is going to be a great choice. Notice that he is grabbing out his armor level 1. Probably going to see him follow that up with weapons level 2. Getting some nice upgrades out here. Let's check in on KiLLeR's army. He does have +1 on these roaches, as well as obviously the roach speed. These guys are relatively quick when they do have their speed. Boop, 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 boop. The legs are so fast. Your roaches. Now sGShOoTER in pretty decent position. He did leave a gap here so he can move his army out. Looks like this photon cannon going to die there fairly quickly, though. And Guardian Shield being used, and great force fields are going to split that army. Good bunch of roaches being trapped, but Burrow being used. And do we have the detection necessary? Yes, we do. However, it's coming in the form of a photon cannon. And KiLLeR still trying to burrow through there, but he did get himself into decent position. And now trying to push through, but great force fields here yet again are going to force KiLLeR back once more. Nicely done. Looks like sGShOoTER going to hold on in a pretty big way, but KiLLeR is beefing up his supply count so very high. He's up to 174, which makes me think he's got a lot more roaches at home than he's got out here. And there's a whole bunch going to join the throng, if you will, of roaches. He's got a bunch more in production, as well as now a spire. He's got all sorts of stuff in production, getting his hive tech. Probably going to see him go for some broodlords here, which is a smart play. And the harassment on the third here going extremely well. Here comes your Colossus. This guy, gotta be careful, cannot get sniped here. This is his saving grace here for sGShOoTER for the time being. He does chase these roaches off for the time being, but I don't know, I'm a little bit worried still actually about sGShOoTER's current position. He is significantly behind in the supply count. That's changing here fairly rapidly. It is going to be 2 Colossus at a time, so great DPS. But he is going to have to catch his opponent before he does go for broodlords and or corruptors. And that spire is about to be complete, so corruptors could be on the way here momentarily. We do have some infestors out as well, so let's take a look at this army. It's just roaches here in the army so far. These guys are just poking around, trying to free up a little bit of supply here and there. And look at that, very quick into Greater Spire. 4 corruptors on the field here in just a few moments, and KiLLeR's actually beefing up his army in pretty solid style. I'm liking it quite a bit. Infestors here, a great choice. He's going to be able to keep those blink stalkers at bay for just a little while, and that is absolutely helpful. But he still needs to worry about these Colossus, but once those corruptors do reach this field, that's going to be a different story. It looks like this will be a nice time for sGShOoTER to go for a push. Corruptors and roaches trying to engage here at the Spinecrawler Forest. So look at that. DignitasKiLLeR, a friend to the environment, planting a forest of Spinecrawlers there. Got to love it. He's got good old speedy roaches out on the field. And taking a 5th base now. Nicely done. He's going to have plenty of hatcheries, I'll tell you, man. Keeping your larvae up and running is such a smart idea. And Greater Spire is going to be complete. We do see a couple more. Looks like just one more, I guess. Corruptors coming out on the field. In the meantime, we're about to see some broodlords. Yep, there we go. 4 of them indeed going down fairly quickly. So sGShOoTER going to have to deal with those now, and that's going to be difficult. He just has the blink stalkers to do it with. While there is only 4 broodlords, that's okay, but now there are going to be 8 in production. Roaches here are going to have to defend. This would be a great time for sGShOoTER to push in, but he does not know that the broodlords are morphing, so does not know that this would be perfect timing. Tough deal. Tough old deal, what can I say? But 2 of those Stargates now are in production for sGShOoTER. I like this tech switch from him. He's going to need those Void Rays to help deal with these broodlords, and quite honestly, they're a great addition to this army, considering that KiLLeR doesn't really have much by way of AA. So nicely done. Looks like sGShOoTER is going to cruise up here, deny the 6th base of KiLLeR in just a moment. But KiLLeR not going to go down without a fight. He's starting to get himself in position here. sGShOoTER taking it down. Does have a 4th base of his own now up and running, grabbing that gas there. Looks like a roach here going to be cruising around, trying to pick up some intel. Nothing much going on up here. We do have one probe who's sadly in a pile of goop that has been falling from the sky underneath. Double overlords. Looks like these overlords are going to get cleared out here. sGShOoTER going to get himself back into defensive posture as he moves forward. Maybe even go for the kill at this base. Smart idea. Try and keep KiLLeR at least down to 5 bases, right? He's going to go for the attack here. Cancellation going down, so only costing him 75 plus the 50 minerals of the drone that insta-died. That's okay. It's like another overlord going down, and look at that. That did supply block KiLLeR. Wow. Oh, never mind. It didn't matter. He was maxed out. Here comes an engagement. We got your roaches moving forward. Looks like these guys are going to try and snipe the Nexus. Interesting play. I'm not sure it's the best move here, but he is going to lose a lot of roaches trying to make it happen, and that's going to make Shooter relatively happy. He is floating 4K minerals at this point, and Killer not too far behind him, floating 3K of his own. Going to snipe this base here once more, and now it's a decent time to start moving forward, I would say. But he does have +1 air weapons now coming out on the field. Void Ray is going to be out on the field as well. Notice your Broodlords do have +1. And he's looking to be in pretty solid shape here. Killer's looking really sharp, I'd say, at this point. But he is behind in the supply count, something that he's going to need to remedy. His roaches do have +2. +3 is going to be on the way. He does have Carapace level 3 already there, or just about there. Needs to get out +3 attack. Flyer Carapace going down as well. He's trying to beef up his air units here. We've got Fake Phoenix in the mix, scouting out these Broodlords. All these broods have just been camping here the entire time. How interesting is that? Broodlords that just sit around and guard the center position. I mean, I don't blame him, I'll be honest, but it's kind of an interesting play here, and Shooter's really getting a lot of leeway, I'd say, from Killer, who beat his opponent to the punch very much so in the supply count, getting to maxed out. And Shooter is now just beefing up his army. He's currently up to +2, +1. He's still working on those air upgrades. That one just barely finished. We'll see if he's going to grab some more. He is picking up some more warp gates, which, I mean, what can I say? But Shooter has just been allowed to come back in this match in a very, very big way. And now Killer moving out. This is a good time. He is going to catch Shooter off guard enough that, you know, I think that Shooter doesn't have the appropriate amount of upgrades quite yet. He is going to go for a base race scenario. How interesting of a deal is that? And looks like we're going to see DignitasKiLLeR try and get himself back into position. Look at the great positioning, though, of these Broodlords. Saving grace, though, is going to be the Void Rays. These Void Rays need to start focusing down the broods instead of the broodlings. That's the key here. Shooter now behind in the supply count for the first time in a little while. And the Killer going to start chasing these guys down. Void Rays is absolutely what he needs. He's producing 4 at a time, as well as now a mothership. Nicely done. I love how Shooter is trying to bide his time, falling back as slowly as possible, but he is going to lose a couple of those Colossus there. It's a big loss. See these guys. Roach is keeping these Broodlords protected very, very well. Would like to see these Void Rays just cruise forward, though. I mean, there's no reason for them to not be attacking Broodlords the entire time. Good blink forward there. Looks like he's going to clean up. Shooter's going to clean these guys up, and here comes some more Corruptors. Corruptor's going to start taking down these Void Rays. Look how many broods are still on the field at this point. Unbelievable. DignitasKiLLeR gearing up to potentially take down this game with broods, but here comes the defense. Looks like it, I'd say Shooter should be able to hold here, but Dignitas is taking a supply lead, and that's a big deal at this point. These Broodlords not going to be able to kite too super effectively, but got to give it the good old college try, right? Oh, cannon's going to be going down, and Killer maxed out now. He's going to be sending roaches this way, as well as, look at these Hydralisks. Man, that's a lot of Hydras. Wow, I think Killer has just won this game. Shooter, unbelievably, I mean, he was allowed to get ahead there, I think, for a good long while, but he was behind a little bit in those upgrades, and that did end up costing him the game there in those engagements. +1/+1 on those broods. +2, +3 on your ground ranged units for the Zerg player. A lot of Corruptors now out on the field. And that is going to put Shooter back down to 1 mining base. Look at this. His natural mined out. Obviously his main mined out. He's trying to get some mining done up here. But if this base goes down, which I assume that it will here momentarily, that is going to be a GG scenario, ladies and gentlemen. So game 1, doing extremely well here. DignitasKiLLeR taking down Shooter. Roach Hydra here, Broodlord support in the back, as well as plenty of Corruptors, just in case those pesky Colossus do come out on the field. Wow. Beautifully done. That is game, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and I just want to mention very quickly before this does get to the GG that Civil Anarchy and XDMax2 out on the live stream, noticing that, you know, earlier on that KiLLeR was going to be able to take this down, and it came down to Shooter not focus firing those Broodlords effectively. Those Broods were just allowed to pick up too many kills, and it made all the difference. And now pushing through here is going to be it. That is all. All she wrote, guys. Look at that. Taking it down. So Shooter just taking a few moments here, probably to compose himself, trying to get ready for his next matchup. He is going to be working on a Archon. Does have one carrier out on the field. These guys on the live stream cracking me up. He's unleashing his inner white raw. Beautifully done, but I mean, nice play here from KiLLeR. Wow, and Shooter actually trying to get this back up and running. Strangely enough, I think a GG would probably be in order, but he did pull out a lot of Archons here, and he does have a mothership with. But he's lost all of his production facilities, and coming back here just seems such a slim possibility. Production structures continuing to fall. This Nexus going to go down, leaving him with just that one last Nexus. Here comes your Voids, here comes your Carriers. We do have that mothership now cloaking all of these interesting individuals. Good old Vortex going down here. A lot of units heading into that particular location. Archons getting repositioned there by the toilet. Spun around to the other side. But it looks as though KiLLeR should be able to clean this up, even given the mothership's availability. Actually, he didn't quite clean it up, but he does have a lot of Rogers still out on the field. However, these air units are relatively slow. Chasing him down will be difficult as he moves forward. KiLLeR still about to be maxed out. Shooter down to 60 out of 58 supply, so currently completely supply locked. Trying to rebuild some gateways. Snipe here from KiLLeR. Taking down the Nexus would be definitely a good idea. Currently at +3/+3 on these guys, so a couple more shots and that is it. Down she goes. Nicely done. Oh, fun, fun, fun. Looks like Shooter should be giving us a GG here in just a moment. There it is. GG well played. And we'll be headed into your next game here momentarily between these two. It will be game number 2. We'll catch you guys then. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Game 2 coming at you now between KiLLeR and Shooter. DignitasKiLLeR. Man, what a nice guy that he is. He's been very patient this evening. He's made it through his games very quickly, considering. And he has been having to wait quite a long while for a lot of matches. So I know that can be extremely frustrating, and I do want to just give a shout out to him. Thanks for your patience, KiLLeR. It has been quite a pleasure to be watching you play this evening, and I am excited to see if you're going to be able to take down Shooter here. But Shooter's showing a lot of strength tonight, man. He's got some interesting builds coming out of him. But he is currently down one game, and now choosing his map, it is going to be GSL's Antigua Shipyard. Oh, Alpha Trooper. We missed you, buddy, but that's okay. We probably wouldn't have let you yeah. We probably wouldn't have let you in regardless. I do apologize, but we tend to not let observers into our tournament matches, just so we never have to say, well, that is that guy's friend. He was telling him stuff over Skype or something like that. We just do it just to make sure to avoid problems like that. But looks like KiLLeR is at 14 supply, now 15, and probably going to be going for a fast expand here in just a few moments. Currently not scouting out with any drones, and here comes your first drone. Oh, nope, it is going to go, wow, pool first. Interesting. Did see that probe headed his way. See what he did there? He had his Overlord. He did scout the probe coming into his base, so he just went ahead and beat his opponent to the punch there and tossed down pool first. How very interesting. Great scouting there. Great, kind of an interesting reaction, but I'd say probably a pretty decent idea. Now moving into this match, though, I mean, he's got to be feeling pretty happy. He is currently up the one game in a best of 3, which does make it a match point. Shooter over here with a pretty standard opener, but late on his gas here yet again. He did open double pylons once more, so kind of an interesting thing. don't know. I dislike that build from him. I don't think it's super efficient, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Cybercore going down though for Shooter, and I do like the fact that he's walling off here versus Zerg opponent. Tends to be a nice idea. You don't want to get a Zergling run by. Killer in the meantime, struggling a little bit to take care of this pylon. Great blockage here from Shooter. Looks like he may even toss down another. Nope. No, he's not. Too bad. That would have been fun to see. There goes your expansion from Killer. It is 4 minutes in, so great denial from Shooter for that solid amount of time, quite frankly. Did a great job. And looks like Shooter is going to be chrono boosting out Zealots. Third one is currently on its way. He does have his warp gate technology started, but no second gas quite yet. And I'm interested to see where he's headed from here. But wow, he's about to have 100 gas, so I'm assuming it's going to be a sentry. A little bit late on it there, I think, unless he wasn't going for a sentry. Who knows? Nope, there's the sentry. Cool. So it was a sentry, maybe a little bit late, but that's all right. And your Zealots here happily going to start whapping away at some Zerglings. Looks like they're going to try and chase these guys off. In the meantime, let's check in on our units tab. 19 drones right now for Shooter. It's about to bump up to 22. But 24 probes out for Killer. He's in phenomenal shape here economically. And trying to gear up for his expansion. Looks like those Zerglings blocking it for the time being. There goes your Nexus. Pretty decent time, 5.5 minutes in. Actually, it's about the time that I tend to expand, and I like that. I think it's the best play. It's definitely a safe play. Moving into this game, I think Shooter does have to play safely. Can't afford to do anything risky. He does have to go 2 games in a row here, so he's just got to make great decisions, and playing the safe is a good way to start. Looks like another gateway going down, as well as a pylon here, walling that off. Pretty nice little wall off there. And he's going to start getting to mining here in just a little while. Looks like he's just got about 60 seconds left on that Nexus. Blocking that off over there as well. Looking pretty solid, what can I say? But only the 1 gateway for now. Wow, he needs to beef that up. Well, second one on the way, but he needs to get some new tech out as well. I mean, he's strangely slow on this one. It's almost 7 minutes in here. I'm interested why he doesn't have at least 1 more gate or something, but whatever, it does happen. He knows what he's doing. There's your second gate. At least it will have a couple extra warp-ins here. And a third gate going down back over here. So, yeah, should be just fine. Should be just fine. And a good couple defensive units. So, not bad. Units tab now showing 35 drones to 30 probes. That is going to be giving DignitasKiLLeR a significant lead here as he moves forward. Quad gas out of this guy, interestingly enough, as well as a Spire now going down. Kind of an interesting position for it. But how often do you scout that backside there as a Protoss? I guess not super often, but it is definitely a possibility. But there it is. You got your Spire going down in great time here for Killer. And he's gearing up to have fairly decent defenses. Double spine crawlers here, good couple queens. This queen dedicated to creep spread for the time being. I like it. Forge going down now for Shooter. And he's got a nice looking unit composition here already. There goes, wow, is that another pylon? Yeah, it is. So where's he going to put his cannons? Maybe no cannons, who knows? Looks like we do have an hallucinated Phoenix now heading out across the map. Good idea to get a good solid scout in, but looks like he is also putting down a forward pylon. However, Killer does scout this himself very quickly. Knows that that is going to be there. Probably going to send some lings over there to kill that sucker off here in just a moment. Always a good idea. No third quite yet for Shooter, but he's just now, I mean for Killer, but he's just now putting it down. Killer and Shooter. Yeah, it's kind of, I almost got those names confused there for just a moment. They are kind of alike in some respects. They're definitely not, you know, perfect opposites, we'll put it that way. But he did get a great scout out here on Killer. See how he's going to proceed from here, but he's got to get some new tech. Notice that he does have his Twilight Council going down. Smart idea, as well as picking up some upgrades. Weapons level 1 now going down. More gateways, I think, an absolute necessity at this point. Notice how clear his main is, and here comes your Muta play from Killer. Picking up a lot of kills. Wow. Too many, actually. Shooter going to be in a little bit of trouble. This could prompt Killer to start sending wings over fairly quickly. But not quite yet. He did clear out, however, a lot of probes. My goodness, 25 workers killed at this point for Killer. And even more going down. How many is that now? 31. Unbelievable. 32. Crazy train. That is going to put Shooter down to 17 probes to 50. Wow. That is sickening stuff. Not a fun position to be in. His main has got to get back up and running here in a very big way. Needs to get some defenses out here. Otherwise, this phenomenal player from Dignitas will be moving in there yet again. Take out some more probes, and there's plenty there already gearing up to be taken out. In the meantime, this forward pylon is not going to last much longer. We do have a couple zealots here who are going to die. Actually, one of them may live. He's the forgotten zealot. Third base up and running in a pretty big way. Here comes a little bit of a drone transfer and a lot of other units headed over this way. There goes some more drones. And look at that. DignitasKiLLeR. DignitasKiLLeR on 3 solid mining base now. Picking up a macro hatch here as well as a baneling nest up in his main. Picking out, let's see, melee attacks level 1. Nicely done. And here comes your secondary harass from the mutas. They're like, oh, only 2 stalkers. We shall engage. Indeed they do. Looks like they'll probably even take out this cannon. Yep, never mind. Cannon does go down. More cannon going down. Unbelievable. Nice push there from Killer. Notice the supply counts. We've got a 70 supply differential plus now for Killer. He is doing a great job. 4th base going down for him here. He's also going to clear out these rocks for mobility. But looks like he does not have time to get that up and running because there's your GG. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for watching. Sad to see Shooter go. He's tons of fun. But Killer, congratulations to him. He is going to be a phenomenal player to see in those next matches. But that puts him in the finals, the semifinals, which do take place on Saturday. So we will catch him then. We'll catch you guys as well. Don't alt tab, always alt StarCraft. See you guys soon.